Hello everyone, this is Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com, and today we have something a little special for you. So many of you know that at times Dada and I will collaborate together to come up with a kind of unusual posts, and we usually release them out on Friday. Sometimes they are life detectives, sometimes they're mystery. Well, today he came up with a great idea to do a very non-political. We know politics are very stressful right now, so we thought we'd break away from that, do something fun. So it's called Foo for Friday. And I'll just go ahead and get started and I'll go through this and hopefully you enjoy. This is a little different, but pretty cool as well. And starts out foo words, words that are inoffensive, words that unite, words from beyond, foo words. Didn't we just say that? So today we're going to look at various photos of ET crafts. They're called Foo during World War II, which that was actually new to me. I'd always heard of the Foo Fighters in regard to music, but I wasn't aware that they were that actually came from a term from World War II. So kind of a cool little history thing there for those who did not know that. So, and also Foo means lucky in Chinese. That was another tidbit that I had learned. And so as we ran into this and we looked through a lot of different pictures, several were fakes, and we're going to put a little shaming reel at the bottom and show you the ones that didn't quite make the cut, that didn't feel quite as authentic. So I'll get right ahead to it. Number one, he called this Jack the Pumpkin King's Foo. And many of you know Dada, he can be quite comical at times, so he's a pretty gifted writer and he has a pretty good sense of humor. So I think you'll enjoy some of his terms and some of his labeling. So the big things that we wanted to learn whose ship were these ships, for the ones that were real. Where did they come from? What do the ETs look like? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they neutral? And what on earth are they doing? So having said that, number one, Jack this Pumpkin King's Foo, whose ship? One thing that we have to remember, when you are dealing with ETs and you're dealing with beings that are not from Earth, some of their language and some of the things they say aren't, it's like you can hear them in your head, but they're hard to pronounce. It's as if our 3D human body can't replicate the noises or the sounds. And I remember hearing it, but I couldn't quite figure it out or figure out how to relay it in our language. So he just noted that it wasn't something that we could pronounce. The origin of it felt like the dark side of the moon from one of the many ET bases up there, and the appearance was tall, black, very thin, stick-like, and a big round head. And the reason he called it Jack the Pumpkin King is because when I looked at this, he reminded me of Jack off the Nightmare Before Elm Street, or not Elm Street, Nightmare Before Christmas. And so the whole time that I'm looking at this being, that's all that I could see to be able to relate it. So he coined that and titled this ET ship to Jack the Pumpkin King. And so what was the mission? They're mining some mineral on the back of the moon that they don't want any human interference, and they've been up there for quite a long time. They did feel kind of hostile. They have a love-hate. He said that they have a love-hate relationship with Christmas. Again, that's some Dada humor in there, but mostly I would say they're pretty hostile beings up there, and they're not really friendly toward humans, and they don't want us to interfere with what it is that they're trying to accomplish up there. All right, number two, he calls this one the big lumpy solar Dorito. And one thing to note, the cube part of the pic is pixelized because NASA put that over the image so we couldn't see it. Again, more of censorship at its work here. So whose ship was it? Okay, this was another really strange name, and it sounded like Alnican or Alnitican. It was something very odd. Again, I'm not sure how to even pronounce it, but it had those type of tones to it. Now, where do they come from? I got the far left star on Orion's belt, what we call Alnicat. I'm having a tongue twister here. He has it spelled Alnitak, one of the sun's portals. So for those of you looking at Orion's belt, if you look to there's 3 stars there. If you look to the star to the left, that's what drew me in. And And Orion's belt is what came to me when I was focused on this. The ET appearance is a hybrid between Palladian and human, kind of like an albino with really wispy white baby hair, blue eyes, light creamy skin, textured like a frog, and with 3 fingers. And then, of course, Dada puts his humor in there, every girl's dream date. Felt kind of neutral to me, and it looked like they were looking for intelligent life. And then he also noted they'll have to look pretty hard on this planet to find it. So, note each of those blobs on the ship are bigger than the Earth. So, don't let the picture deceive you. Some of these ships are mammoth. I mean, it's just to put it in perspective, like he said, the blobs on there are bigger than the Earth itself. So those are some pretty large ships. Okay, so then number 3. Here's a mothership and a baby ship. So when you look at this picture, you'll see a ball to the lower right. I saw that as kind of the baby ship. This looks like a mothership releasing other little ships loose. So this is the mothership's like the main base where they report to, and then other ones are released from this main larger ship. Whose ship? Palladian. Origin, Pallades. And the ET appearance is fair skin, light eyes. And he tags in here, must have no rhythm. I picked up that they're good, and they're here to lessen a natural disaster involving water in the ocean. When I tuned into this, I kept seeing the ocean, and what I'd said to him was I would be really curious to know what disasters occurred around the time that this was actually photoed, because it felt like, I don't know if there was a hurricane, if there was a flood, if there was some huge storm, but it feels as though they were here to either lessen that, do some healing in regard to it, or serve as some kind of protective watcher over it. But they did have good intentions, and it did feel disaster related as to why they were here. And then now, Dada has a little side section here to note the same ship and ball above, this one that looks like a big long mothership with the baby ship, appeared in a mass sighting in Nuremberg in 1561. The Palladians were fighting the Archons. And here's a woodcut of the event. I'll show you that picture. It'll be up there on the video. It says, wow, it happened again 100 years later in Berkshire in 1661. Again, there's another photo of that. The Palladians have been trying to protect us from the Archons for like ever. And so that's an interesting fact he wanted to include in there. All right, so number 4, we call this one the Blobby Food Go Home. Whose ship? Again, it was something I just couldn't say, and I wasn't really sure where it came from. The appearance of the beings within the ship, they look like just the average gray. I did a reading a few days ago, and it had a cluster of grays on it. And it looks like the ones that I most often communicate with. There's one that stood out to me on that reading that had their finger up to their mouth and doing this shushing thing. It really reminded me of that. They felt very neutral, and they were leaving Earth for one of Jupiter's moons from a base near this location. And when I saw this brightness here, what I got was you're actually witnessing one zooming off. It was as if they ramp up and their vibration increases, and they get this like supercharged before they leave. And that feels like that's what was happening right at that moment. You're getting ready to witness one leave. It's kind of miraculous that we even got that photo. And it looks like more than one ship, but it was one ship getting ready to go, and it was just the way the picture was, the way that everything was vibrating. That's what it looks like right before it got ready to leave. All right, so number 5, this purple blob says, Foo Fly's coach. Whose ship? Lyrian, aka Lyran. Place of origin, constellation, Lyra. ET appearance, they look like the nice grays to me, and they felt like they had good intentions. Their mission was healing, working on balancing Earth energy for the airlines, he says. So, a little humor in there, but overall they feel good, and they do feel like they were here balancing some kind of energy and trying to offer some kind of an assistance. Okay, so the bonus. He has a bonus on here. And like I said, we had to look through a lot of pictures. There's a lot of fakes. People have different reasons to put stuff out there, whether it's attention, whether it's trying to get money, what have you. So yeah, we went through a lot. So we found a bonus one here. He called it the black dot flu, black foo dot. All right. He wasn't sure how he wanted to word it. You take it how you want. So whose ship is it? The U.S. military. And where was the origin? Well, here, and there's humans in it, and they're neutral, and they're testing ET technology. So that's what the bonus one looked like it was all about. So all in all, that was all that we had for today. At the end, we have a lot of fakes that we tried to sort through to get a handful of good ones to share with you. It looks like we have 11 of them total, so we'll put those on there. He called it the Foo Wall of Shame here. And so that's all we have. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave a message, like me, share me. It really helps me out. And also go and check out Dada's blog. He is such a gifted artist. He's always making cute little diagrams and pictures. Check out his work. He writes a lot of cool stuff on his blog as well. So after you check me out, please check him out, or check him out and then check me out. Either way, but he definitely deserves his props. He puts a lot of time into what he does as well. And in closing, that's all I have. Again, I thank you. And this is Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Bye.